All right, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you're having a wonderful morning. It is March 14th, 2025, Pi Day. Actually, I haven't heard anybody say that, but we got an interesting day ahead. It has already been a wild week. The S&P fell and stayed into its correction. Literally yesterday we had that, and then this morning now we are up. Tech stocks are looking good. We are going to be getting the consumer sentiment. We went over that one last night, so I hope you guys are ready. But all in all, a lot of questions are being asked. Is this going to be the bottom, as seasonality would tell you? Are we out of all of the fear, or are we about to get something a lot like 2022 and maybe Wall Street is ready for the detox? So, Chatadonia, I hope you're ready. I woke up. I did not know, man. I'm clapped. I'm a little clapped today. So we're going to chill, bro. We're going to vibe, baby. I'm still here, though. You know what I'm saying? Locked and loaded, baby. So I hope you guys are ready, but good morning. What up, Canella? What up, Tim Whitman, Joe Raj, Kurt McGirt, baby, Days, Alex, Rodney, Rigo, baby. Good morning. What up, C-Rod? What up, Yee? Right out, Todd Crows, Benny Silverio, baby. What up, Keem? What up, Kay? I'm on. Good morning. Little Lebowski, Ports, Alyssa Baker in the house. Good morning. What up, Persian? What up, NRG? How you doing, Todd Reed? Mitch Matsono. Oh, my goodness. Y'all ready to go, huh? Y'all ready to go on a Friday, bro? That's it. That's crazy. Man, it's been a wild start of the year, bro. Oh, man. Good morning. What about that Twitch? What up, Bleach? What up, Stock Sasquatch? Oddity. Swinging. Toy Soldier. Senor. Pie Guy. Not Piggy. Danny V. Suede. Blazing Bob. And Robo Hand Tech, baby. Good morning. So, Chad, I got a couple. I actually have two different Josh AIs today. You're going to get the first part, and then I'll get you a little bit on my own, and then he's going to do the last part for you, too. Oh, yeah, we putting him to work, baby. Good morning. Here's Josh AI. Stock futures rise after sell-off. Gold hits $3,000. Global stocks rose as the threat of a U.S. government shutdown receded, removing at least one element of uncertainty confronting investors. Gold hit a record above $3,000 an ounce amid haven demand. S&P 500 contracts rose 1% as a stopgap funding bill looks set to pass in Congress after Senate Democratic leader Chuck Schumer opted not to block the measure. That lifted the mood after the index extended its 3-week rout beyond 10% on Thursday, the technical threshold for a correction. Futures on the NASDAQ 100 advanced 1.3%, with NVIDIA Corp leading pre-market gains among the Magnificent Seven tech cohort. It looks like the budget bill is still going through despite some opposition from Democrats, and this has lifted sentiment in the U.S., and probably there is also some spillover effect to Europe. Julius Baer and company economist Sophie Altermatt said this might be just some reprieve given we had so many uncertainties with erratic policy moves in the U.S. She added, avoiding a government shutdown would remove a concern for traders already fretting over threats to the world economy from President Donald Trump's tariff war. 2 months into Trump's presidency, $5 trillion has been erased from U.S. stocks. Those risks are spurring demand for haven assets, with investors the most bullish on treasuries relative to stocks for at least 3 years, according to the Bloomberg Markets Live Pulse survey. They've also pushed gold to successive record highs, with the yellow metal now up more than 14% year to date. Gold is in a secular bull market, said Peter Kinsella, head of foreign exchange strategy at Union Bancaire Privée UBP who expects prices to reach $3,300 an ounce by year end. For sure, that's down to uncertainty caused by U.S. trade policies, but central bank demand is also a big factor. Europe's stock 600 index climbed about 1% as Germany's chancellor-in-waiting Friedrich Merz was said to have reached an agreement with the Greens Party on a spending package for infrastructure and defense. Germany's DAX stock index rose as much as 2.8%, while a basket of European defense stocks gained 4.5% to a new record high. However, the prospect of more borrowing reignited a sell-off in euro area bonds, lifting German 10-year borrowing costs about 7 basis points. French yields hit the highest since 2011 on concerns Fitch Ratings will downgrade the country's credit rating later in the day. Stocks sink into a correction. U.S. stocks tumbled into a correction yesterday, with the S&P 500 capping a 10% plunge from a peak in mid-February. It's another milestone in what's been a grim year for American investors. This marks the 7th fastest correction in records going back to 1929, data compiled by Bloomberg show. It took 16 sessions for the S&P 500 to sink 10%. 3 of the 7 fastest drawdowns happened under President Donald Trump in 2018, 2020, and now. Chart watchers say the S&P 500 needs to recapture its 200-day moving average, which is currently near 5,738. Some technical charts also show the S&P 500 is already at oversold levels. The index's 14-day relative strength index is hovering around 30. Bank of America strategist Michael Hartnett says this is a technical correction, not the beginning of a bear market. Since equity bear threatens recession, fresh declines in stock prices will provoke flip in trade and monetary policy, he wrote. The AII survey is registering extreme pessimism, a bullish signal in some circles because it indicates a mass surrender among individual traders and means that everyone who wanted to sell has done so. The index was at similar levels in 2022 and 2009, and prior instances have coincided with stretches of bear market bottoms, but Dow theory is signaling more pain ahead. Believers of the metric point to the fact that the Dow Transports Index has fallen about twice as much as the Dow Industrial Average from their peaks, a worrisome trend for key pillars of the U.S. economy. Japan's unions win largest pay hike in more than 3 decades. Japan's largest labor union group said its workers secured the highest pay deal in more than 3 decades, supporting the case for further gradual interest rate hikes from the Bank of Japan. Labor unions under the federation known as Rengo have so far secured a pay gain of 5.46% on average in ongoing annual wage negotiations. According to its initial tally released on Friday, that's the highest level since 1991 when compared with past final tally figures, and exceeded last year's initial reading of 5.28%. The report also showed that base pay gains averaged 3.84%, growing faster than last year's 3.7%. Top overnight news: U.S. equity futures are rallying after Senate Democratic leader Chuck Schumer dropped his threat to block a key spending bill, cutting the risk of a disruptive March 15th shutdown. BBG, U.S. Senate Minority Leader Schumer said he will vote to keep the government open and not shut it down. It was separately reported that multiple U.S. Democratic senators and aides indicated sufficient Democratic support for cloture on the House-passed continuing resolution in Friday morning's vote. Punch Bowl: U.S. President Trump is to sign executive orders on Friday at 12:00 EDT/16:00 GMT. U.S. Vice President Vance said can never predict the future, but thinks the economy is strong. When asked if he could rule out a recession, according to a Fox News interview, U.S. Treasury Secretary Bessent said they hopefully won't get a recursive Bidenflation and said they are very vigilant and it could happen again. Bessent added that before they can bring down inflation, they also want to help affordability, and as they bring down inflation, they want to bring the absolute price level down through deregulation and bringing down interest rates for house payments and car payments. Mertz said to reach tentative deal with Greens on German debt. BBG Ontario Premier Doug Ford lauded his Thursday meeting with Commerce Secretary Howard Lutnick as positive and productive after their public rift over tariffs on imported goods. We shared a tremendous amount of views back and forth, and I'm feeling very positive, Ford told reporters outside the U.S. Department of of Commerce building, the Hill, and Chinese stocks jumped on Friday after Beijing promised new measures to help consumers, defying a Wall Street sell-off and pushing the country's main stock index into positive territory for the year. Chinese authorities announced late on Thursday that they would hold a press conference on boosting consumption on Monday. China is increasingly concerned not just about U.S. tariffs, but also the risk that Washington will direct other countries like Mexico, Brazil, etc. to ramp duties on Chinese imports as well. NYT: China may slash pay by 50% for fund managers who underperform their benchmarks, People Familiar said, as part of a broader overhaul of the country's mutual fund industry. BBE: Ukrainian drones attacked Moscow for the second day in a week as U.S. Special Envoy Steve Witkoff left the country. Russian news services reported the attacks also triggered a massive fuel tank fire at one of Russia's biggest oil refineries. BBG: the UK economy unexpectedly shrank 0.1% in January, hit by declines in manufacturing and construction. The pound slipped. BBG: investors are the most bullish on treasuries relative to stocks in at least 3 years, according to a MLIV survey. As tariff policies threaten U.S. exceptionalism, some 77% see bonds giving a better volatility-adjusted return over the next month. BBG. Good morning. There's a little bit more. S&P futures, they are up by 0.9 Friday morning, comes after U.S. equities sold off again on Thursday, with all major indexes down over 1 and the S&P ending in correction territory. Stocks on track for a fourth straight week of outsized losses. Treasuries weaker across the curve. Dollar is down by 0.1. Gold is up by 0.6, now trading above 3,000 an ounce for the first time. Bitcoin is up by 4 and WTI is up by 0.6. Stocks are trying to bounce again with no specific catalyst for the move, and oversold conditions remain the go-to excuse. However, some semblance of a positive sentiment surrounding dampened prospect of U.S. government shutdown after Schumer said that he would back the House-called measures or passed measured. Reports a productive meeting between U.S. and Canadian officials. Thursday, big rally in China stocks on NFRA pledge to boost consumption. Earnings takeaway has leaned positive, though noting particular high profile on the calendar. Still a lot of skepticism about sustainability of any bounce given Trump 2.0 uncertainty and continuing messaging from Trump administration that they are focused on economic rebalancing rather than the stock market. Consumer sentiment comes out today for March, and on the economic calendar, headline figure expected to slip to 63.5 from 64.7 in February. Sentiment readings have attracted outsized attention as of late amid concerns about Trump 2.0. Senate to vote later this afternoon to overcome filibuster of House CR. Looking ahead for the week, retail sales on Monday, high-profile release amid worries about cracks in consumer resilience theme. Empire Manufacturing, home builder on Monday. Tuesday brings start of building permits and import prices, and then FOMC on Wednesday. Docu, a post-earnings standout with takeaways focusing on revenue and billings and growth acceleration. Ulta, fiscal Q4 better and full-year guidance deemed better than feared. Rubrik, up big following its beat and raise with the street highlighting net new subs and ARR growth acceleration. Titan higher on better fiscal Q4 and guidance with takeaways noting strong new bookings. SMTC up big on better fiscal Q4. PD fiscal Q2 better, full-year guide better, and $100 billion buyback. Tesla warned of tariff impact in letter to USTR. O'Reilly announced 15-for-1 stock split. And CCI up on asset sale announcements. Wow. So there is more. I've never had Mr. AI do this one because it's a little bit more messy. But I'm going to put up the plays so you can see the plays, and then you are going to hear the other part of the news with Josh AI. So here it is. Trade wars with U.S. allies could spiral as Trump tries to get trading partners to back down from retaliation with new threats. NY Times. Lutnick and Canadian officials have extremely productive meeting on tariffs. Global News. Tesla warns of retaliatory tariffs in wake of Trump's trade policies, emphasizes difficulty in sourcing parts domestically. Reuters. U.S. importers of European wine say they would have to foot the bill of Trump's tariff, warn of closure and layoffs. Reuters link. Trump's tariffs hurt U.S. stocks more than other markets. Bloomberg, New York Times. Dow theory sends bearish trend signal. Bloomberg. BOFA says U.S. slump a technical correction rather than start of bear market. Bloomberg, Reuters. China stocks hit highest level this year. Link Bloomberg, Reuters, FT. Stocks EM debt saw large inflows during February. Reuters. Investors most bullish on U.S. bonds relative to stocks for at least 3 years. Bloomberg. Growth fears hit junk bonds as cost to protect against default hits. AUG 2024 high. Bloomberg. Morgan Stanley eyes further U.S. dollar downside ahead of Trump's 2 APR tariff deadline. Bloomberg. Washington. Senate Minority Leader Schumer urges Democrats to avoid government shutdown. Link Axios, Washington Post. Trump suggested to GOP senators he is open to current policy baseline accounting maneuver to make TCJA extension permanent. Politico. White House studying plans to cut federal spending without need for congressional approval. Fox News. Trump and Senate GOP make no headway in whether to include debt ceiling increase in tax and spending package. Bloomberg. Maryland judge orders workers reinstated. California judge says 6 agencies improperly ordered to fire staff. Reuters. FT. Trump administration asks Supreme Court to partly allow birthright citizenship restrictions. Link. USPS expects 10,000 workers to take voluntary retirement. Reuters. Poll shows Americans uneasy with Trump's Russia alignment. Republicans divided on Trump's territorial expansion plan. Reuters. Economy. UK economy unexpectedly contracts 0.1% in January amid manufacturing decline. FT. German inflation eases more than expected in February, a positive sign for the ECB. Bloomberg. Japanese companies again offering workers the biggest pay increase in 3 decades. Link. South Korea Finance Ministry warns economy faces pressure from construction slump, geopolitical uncertainties. Yonhap. Central Bank's ECB President Lagarde warns trade would have severe consequences for global economy. Inflation. Bloomberg. China encourages banks to issue loans aimed at increasing consumption. Securities Times. China activity data forecast to show signs of economic stabilization. Bloomberg. China's aim of stimulating consumption depends on local governments spending the money. Bloomberg. Corporate Tesla Model Y suppliers extended gains after a report about the lower-cost Model Y. Reuters. Apple's iPhone 16e outpacing initial sales of the third-generation iPhone SE, but won't reverse a China sales decline. Bloomberg. Oracle in discussions with Indonesia's government to establish a cloud services center in the country. Bloomberg. DeepSeek may find limited access to NVIDIA's new generation of more advanced chips. FT. ECB authorizes UniCredit to increase Commerce Bank stake to 29.9%. Reuters. Han High Precision Industry misses estimates due to weak Chinese iPhone sales that eroded margins. Bloomberg. Bill Ackman's Pershing raises $1.4 billion after trimming Universal Music stake. Bloomberg. Crown Castle agrees to sell separate parts of its fiber business for combined $8.5 billion. Bloomberg. Compass in talks to acquire Warren Buffett's real estate brokerage business. Reuters. BMW posts 37% drop in annual net profit, warns of subdued Chinese demand. FT Link. Carrying slumps as analysts balk at Demna's appointment as Gucci creative director. CNBC. FT. Geopolitics. White House toughens sanctions on Russia's oil, gas, and banking by further restricting access to U.S. payment systems. CBS News. Putin won't rule out support for ceasefire, but lays out numerous conditions that could delay truce. NY Times. Reuters. Sources say Russia seeks to exclude key Trump envoy from Ukraine talks. Reuters. Link. U.S. intelligence reports assess Putin remains determined to dominate Ukraine. Washington Post. EU unveils ambitious defense plan to counter Russia and support Ukraine. Politico. Link. FT. German political divisions puts government's 500 billion euros fiscal bazooka at risk. Telegraph. U.S. exploring ways to work with Gazprom on global projects in bid to forge closer ties with Moscow. Bloomberg. U.S. and U.K. officials hold talks to address tensions over U.K. access to Apple's encrypted data. Bloomberg. All right, that's it, man. I went over a couple of these. I was going over with my mouth. Again, I'm a little under the weather today, so that's why you get chill, Josh. You know, I'm not yelling as much. I think you guys got all the news. He didn't do bad. You know, all the sources, you have to work through it, but Chatadonia, we're here for a reason, baby. That's why we're here right now, man. And sick in health. It sounds like we're gonna be at a wedding. And sick in health, for better or for worse, baby. There's something else, man. There's something else more important. And every day at the cult, man, I really take a lot of honor in this, but not for myself. I'm very glad to be surrounded by good men and women who have served this country. And I feel like if I could use any of my abilities, it would be to help those people who have indirectly given me the life that I have right now. And that is the veterans of the United States of America. So that's why here at the Cult, man, before we do anything, before we chase a dollar, before we try to enrich ourselves, we must pay homage to a very special group of people that has made a sacrifice that most of us never have and never will, and that is the veterans of the United States of America. Families, everybody, man. And for real, if you don't have the culture behind this, just shame on you, bro. And honestly, too, if you are a veteran, please, let's get you a house. You better have a long term. If anybody deserves all of this, if anybody is going to be a property owner, it should be you, my friends, because you are the ones who have already fought for this great country. So, veterans, the families, thank you for everything you have given and sacrificed, whether it's when you came home or when you had to leave. It's actually wild how much some of the great men and women of this country have given up. So, we love you. We appreciate you. And if you don't show that love and appreciation, you're a hoe. So God bless you all. Shout out to the veterans and big shout out to anybody else out there giving back to the local communities. Doctors, nurses, teachers, firefighters, police officers, the janitors, the coaches, the garbage men, anybody making their community go, baby. God bless you and thank you. But right off the bat, baby, ladies and gentlemen, please rise. Place your right hand over your heart. Say it with me. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all, baby. Senators! Oh, it's game time, baby. Horna. Let's go. Oh, Chatadonia. Chatadonia. Are you ready? You got a couple minutes. I think we got good time. So, Chatadonia, it's going to be an interesting one. We already got a little bit of rally. You should have got a lot of info on the watch list yesterday. This could turn out any way, but now let's see. Let's see what we actually get, and then consumer sentiment. That's going to be coming out in a little bit, and that will be our driver of the day. But now, time to move to Gen Pop. So there it is. God bless you all, baby. Good morning. Let's have a good one. And I will see you there. I will see you there.